All right, here we go. We have the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. Jamal Adams, 4 years, $70 million extension on Tuesday, highest paid safety in the NFL. Teddy Bridgewater, first quarter. Who is he looking for? K.J. Hamler. Okay, we got a quarterback competition. Drew Lock would play 5 drives, and Ted would play 2. Yep, Ted 2, just like the Mark Wahlberg and Seth MacFarlane sequel. But how about this? Drew Lock throwing it to Seth Williams. Speaking of Seth MacFarlane, Seth Williams would take that 33 yards to the pickup. And that right there is your score. Broncos will win 30-3.
Who's the quarterback, though? That's the question there in Denver. Time now to check out last night's list of the top 100 players of 2021, presented by Crown Royal. Here are the players ranked 40 to 31. Bradley Chubb getting some love. Love seeing Marlon Humphrey. Everybody's talking about how physical he is out there doing his thing. Bakhtiari. I think Myles Garrett said he was the toughest to go against. Keeping it going here from 30 to 21. Fred Warner, friend of the show. DK Metcalf, friend of the show. Bobby Wagner, Devin White, friends of the show. Aaron Jones, yeah, they're all here. And let's take a look, guys, now at 20 through 11 from Dalvin Cook to Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, and Stephon Diggs. Guys, let's take a little talk.
Okay. Take a little talk.
Russell Wilson. Yeah, he finished number 2 in the rankings. This year, he is 12th. What do we think of his placement on the top 100 players list? Triggs, I'm going right to you.
I try not to get upset or outraged about this list. I know it every year there's going to be something that disappoints me, and I know every year there's going to be something that annoys me, and then I'm going to get in this hole, and I'm like, what do I care? What do we care? What is this? It's an innocuous list. Russell Wilson being outside the top 10 is ridiculous. To have defensive players who weren't Defensive Player of the Year being voted above him, to have any running back, I don't care if it's a 2,000-yard season, over Russell Wilson, who last year threw this team on his back and basically did everything he possibly could to get this team a division title. As long as Russell Wilson gets out of bed and he's playing football, he's a top 5 player in this league. Russell Wilson at 12 is one of the most ridiculous things this list has ever brought us. And of course, as always, the people at the network, well, the players voted on it. I'm confused by that. Any player who's played against Russell Wilson will tell you that you do not have Russell Wilson outside the top 10. Is it just they don't like Russell Wilson anymore? Maybe. Like, what is this?
Fatigue?
Russell Wilson? We talk all the time. Do you know that Russell Wilson never got an MVP vote? Yeah. I think an even bigger crime against Russell Wilson is the fact he was once voted outside the top 10 in this list. He might come back with a vengeance just based on this. Wow. Russell Wilson is a top 5 player every year.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would agree with you, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. You guys know I'm the biggest Russell Wilson fan there is, but I feel like if they would have made this list or at least voted on it early in the season, Russell Wilson might be number 1. He was the MVP. Going through September into the rest of the season, we're like, he is cooking, he's on fire, he's going to win the MVP. But then he trailed off, and towards the end of the season, he started making some very uncharacteristic mistakes, and this is around the time guys start voting on this. We on the show have recency bias. A lot of times, players have recency bias, but that can work against you when you're not playing well later in the season. And not to mention that, it wasn't just Russell Wilson throwing some uncharacteristic picks. The Seahawks just weren't playing well, and they didn't look good. So I think teams were looking at who was playing well, who was on fire, and who was the most impressive group of guys. And Russell Wilson didn't fall on that list later in the season.
Second half.
I can't get there with you guys on this. There's 1,700 players in the league. He's the 12th best player? That seems like an honor to me. It's not like he's 40th. He's 12th.
But he's lower than the year before.
Yeah, and he wasn't as good last year as the year before. Like, I just can't draw swords over Russell Wilson at 12th. Listen, look at the history. He's always got a ton of respect year after year on this list. 12th, 2nd, 25th, 11th, 24th, 17th. So what we're talking about here...
Receipts.
We're talking about like a 9-year run of players thinking he's excellent, top 25. Again, 1,700 players, 32 starting quarterbacks. Why doesn't he have an MVP vote? Because he never deserved one any of those years. Why isn't he higher than 12? Because
I look at that.
He's probably about the 12th best player, Peter. 12!
I look at that as great disrespect that he's been top 10 once.
Well, now Peter, we don't have to retroactively do it. We're back on the 12. I'm just showing for context. Were there really not 11 players better than him at any? I think T.J. Watt was better at his position than Russell Wilson was in his last year. Peter, I'd love to get mad with you. I really would. I want to get in on a Monday morning and just be pissed. I can't get there. It's 12.
It's August 23rd,
yes.
Okay.
The second week of the preseason, and I am enraged
I know.
over Russell Wilson's top 100 list thing. And I know going in, I'm going to hate it always.
Do you think he's mad? Do you think he's mad?
Come on.
You think Russ is going to be like, They voted me 12.
might.
I'm going to burn the world.
I think the MVP voting thing really pisses him off. It's like Monday morning every day of the season. Go get that MVP vote. Go take your team, will them to the NFC Championship game, and get yourself higher in that list next year.
And I think he's going to have to wait a few years for Canton, too. And at this point, let's just keep on going.
Listen, here's the deal. You can find out who the players do